One of the questions I get asked a lot is, how do you play out bunkers with different sands? Sometimes they're really fluffy, sometimes they're more compact. Both of these things are variables that it's not that hard to adjust for when you know how. What we have here is basically, it's the same bunker, but after a lot of rain, we've got a bit more packed down here. There is not as much sand to work with. And I can tell that just by digging my feet in. And this is what you need to do every bunker shot you have. It's not cheating, but you're just trying to see somewhere near the ball, what's the density like? What's the depth like? You can have a bit of an idea. It's a lot firmer over here than it is over here. And the reason why this is important is because it's going to change our low point control. It's going to change how we attack the golf shot for exactly the same distance that we're trying to play. In golf, there are so many variables. We can't control most of them. We have to adapt to them. But we also don't need to adapt or change as much as you may think. And this is a perfect example. Because we want to try and get the same amount of contact, and I urge you to go and try this. Let's start off with the tightly packed lie, okay? What we want to do, because we need to make sure that we're going to get the same amount of sand or a good amount of sand, because that's always the objective, to strike behind the ball here and strike the sand still getting down. But what happens a lot of times when it's a bit thin, we'll just end up catching it a bit clean and you're like, oh, there was no sand there. It's because you're playing it, you're setting up to it the same as you would something where it's a lot fluffier. When it's a lot fluffier, we can execute the same amount of strike the sand here, really just sort of sweep through it. But the same technique, the same stance isn't going to apply for either shot. So what do you do instead? It's going to help your consistency more than you can imagine, all right? With a tighter lie, all we need to do is stand closer to the ball. Doesn't mean you're going to grip down it, doesn't mean anything. We're just going to stand a little bit closer. We're still going to dig our feet in, and I'm not going to go into many other bunker techniques. I've got lessons on that already. I just want us to focus on our distance control. And I want you to experiment, is actually feel like you're a lot closer to it than you normally would be, almost feeling a little bit too cramped. Now I can stay on top of it and I can accelerate down and through. But I'm just going to test this out. I feel a bit crowded, but I'm going to hit the sand behind. And that ended up going pretty close. But if we come a bit closer, I took a lot of divot here. That's kind of a big chunky amount of sand. If I did that off a fluffier lie, here, if I took a big amount of sand, that ball is not going to go anywhere. If I stand closer to it, if I'm more on top of it and stay down and feel like I'm doing exactly the same as what I just did, it barely gets out. There's way too much sand in the way here. So what I'm going to do here is set up further away. My radius is further away. I almost feel like I'm reaching it. By doing that, I'm going to be shallower. I'm going to be able to accelerate through, and even though I'm taking the same amount of sand in theory, I don't have to try as hard to get down and strike the sand. So I'm standing a bit further away. The swing's going to be a bit more rounded, but I don't have to think about any of that. I just strike the sand and it comes out. So remember, tighter, harder packed sand, stand closer to it. You'll stop thinning it. When it's fluffier, deeper sand, especially if you find yourself digging in all the time and it's staying in the bunker too often, stand further away. You'll be surprised at what difference this tiny adjustment will make. Now, if you want to basically improve your swing so you don't end up in as many bunkers as usual, watch this lesson. It's going to really simplify how you compress the ball and have an efficient swing. Thanks for watching. See you next time.